Paris Hilton is finally breaking her silence, revealing a truth more disturbing than anyone ever imagined. This story uncovers the reality behind the original party girl, showing a carefully constructed lie that hid a broken heart for years. The receipts prove that the woman on television was a victim of a calculated plot, and the architect of her destruction was Rick Salomon. His downfall is now complete, and while the public once believed the narrative that Paris was a willing participant in her exploitation, the legal facts tell a different story. In 2004, the course of pop culture history changed forever when a private video reached the public without her consent. This targeted attack on a young woman's dignity aimed for profit and fame, rather than being a simple leak or a mistake. Rick Salomon stood behind the camera, ensuring the world saw things that were never meant to be public, and the contract proves his intent to weaponize the footage from the very start. He prioritized a payout over the girl he was dating, leaving the media to mock Paris with cruel names while he profited from the scandal. Justice eventually found Salomon in a court of law, where legal documents show Paris countersued for the release of that tape and won. The judge saw the truth, awarding her $400,000 in damages because she was out of it during the filming and the video lacked her permission. Salomon attempted to sue her back for these claims, but his case crumbled because the facts were not on his side. This high-stakes legal battle largely went ignored by the media, who preferred focusing on her lifestyle rather than the evidence that showed Salomon pulling the strings. The world is finally witnessing the psychological scars left behind by this betrayal, especially following her groundbreaking 2025 interview where she revealed a horrific nickname. Behind closed doors, they called her Miss Blue Baller, a name that sounded like a joke but represented a heartbreaking reality. This label emerged because she felt so terrified of men that she refused to engage in physical intimacy, even while the world viewed her as a sex symbol. Dates usually ended with a kiss because she felt nervous to do anything else, living in constant fear of another man recording her or breaking her trust. Evidence suggests Paris played a specific character to survive the intense pressure of the spotlight, adopting a ditzy persona because it felt safer than showing her pain. She leaned into this image to gain control over a life that seemed to be spiraling away, building a massive empire while she secretly suffered from the trauma of 2004. Her public image functioned as a mask, and the truth is finally out that she was never the girl in that video. Instead of a wild child, she was a victim trying to find a way to feel safe again. That legal battle marked the beginning of her journey toward vindication, as witness statements and behind-the-scenes drama began telling a different story than the public assumed. Paris remained professional and hardworking while those around her attempted to drain her bank account, leading to a brand worth billions of dollars. Rick Salomon, the villain of her story, headed for a total career meltdown, and his reputation now sits in tatters as the man who tried to ruin a young girl for money. Comparing their lives today reveals a staggering contrast, with Paris transforming from a tabloid target into a respected mogul and an advocate for change. She utilized her platform to expose abuse in the teen industry, which meant protecting other young people from her own experiences. Resilience defines her life now, and the receipts of her success appear in everything from her perfumes to her documentaries. She has proven that being a victim can lead to becoming a winner, and her empire stands as evidence that she truly won. Peace has finally replaced the fear that once kept her closed off, and her marriage to Carter Riem serves as the ultimate proof of that recovery. They reconnected in 2019 and tied the knot in November 2011, holding a massive ceremony at her grandfather's estate to show the world she was no longer afraid. This wedding was more than a celebration, as it signaled a moment where she finally felt safe enough to let someone in. They have since welcomed 2 children, Phoenix and London, who now sit at the center of her universe. Her motherhood journey adds another layer to her legacy, and she spoke openly about using a surrogate to ensure her babies remain safe and healthy. She acts as a proud mother who takes her children on adventures around the globe, and she told the press that her kids love music and feel proud of her. This reality differs greatly from the years she spent as a punchline, as she has evolved into a power player who needs to prove nothing to anyone. She is a mother and a mogul, finally living the life she always deserved. Rick Salomon still faces the consequences of his actions, and his legacy will always be tied to the man who leaked that tape for profit. His choices to prioritize money over human decency led to his current career meltdown, and there is no redemption for a man who builds a fortune on destruction. The receipts are public, which meant the world finally learned who he really is. He attempted to break her, but he only succeeded in making her stronger while ruining his own reputation. Credibility and industry respect are gone for Salomon, and the legal documents remain a permanent record of his failure for all to see. Every time someone researches the history of that tape, they see he was ordered to pay damages, and that changed everything for how the public perceives him. Caught in a web of his own making, he became a footnote in history, while Paris learned to use the truth as a weapon. Her victory is documented in the courts, showing a man who was caught by his own greed. The Miss Blue Baller story reminds us that public perception rarely reflects the internal struggles of a person fighting for their sanity behind closed doors. The media focused on surface-level drama, while a young woman was treated like a commodity rather than a human being. Paris refused to stay down, taking the labels and the public shame and using them as fuel for her fire. She successfully transitioned into a serious businesswoman, proving that she was never just a tabloid target, but a warrior who survived. Her documentary, Infinite Icon, provides a visual memoir of her triumph over tragedy and shows the world how to survive. A villain, she took the experience of being SAD by the media and transformed it into a lesson on finding one's voice and power. Fans are rushing to support her because they recognize the strength required to reach this point in her life. She is no longer that scared girl, and her current path proves that the truth always comes out eventually. Thriving in her career and her personal life serves as the final nail in the coffin for the villains who tried to destroy her. Her children will grow up knowing their mother was a hero who built an empire from the ashes of a scandal. Phoenix and London will understand the truth about 2004, and they will see that their mother was the victor in a story designed to ruin her. Salomon remains a footnote, while Paris has become a legend who won the game on her own terms. Lies told about Paris Hilton cost her years of peace and her ability to trust, but the payout of her resilience was even greater. She gained a level of strength that most will never understand, learning to navigate a world that wanted her to fail at every turn. Strategic thinking allowed her to spot manipulators from a mile away, and the receipts prove she was always the smartest person in the room. She was never the dumb blonde, but a genius playing a very long game. Justice is finally being served as her enemies face their own career meltdowns, and her courage has inspired a movement of survivors. People are no longer afraid to name their villains, because Paris showed them that the truth is a powerful tool. The era of the party girl has ended, and the era of the mogul has begun with Paris leading the way. She has proven that no matter how hard they try to break you, your truth can never be taken away. Court records and contracts point to the same conclusion, which is that Paris Hilton survived a massive betrayal and came out stronger. She threw labels and nicknames back at the people who gave them to her, choosing to be the master of her own destiny. Her enemies now suffer the consequences, and their names remain associated with scandal and shame rather than success. She built something beautiful from the ashes, and the evidence of her victory is written in the law. The world owes Paris Hilton an apology for watching her be torn apart by a man who should have protected her from harm. We consumed the tabloids and laughed at the jokes, but now we know the cost of that entertainment was a real person's sanity. Paris exposed the the heart of the industry, and showed us the reality of the 2000s media frenzy. She is a hero for telling her story, and her courage has changed how we view the victims of exploitation. Truth always wins in the end, even if it takes decades and a massive legal battle to finally come to light. The receipts never lie, and the evidence is clear that Paris Hilton is a survivor of a massive plot against her reputation. She is a proud mom and a powerful icon who will never be silenced again by anyone. The villains have lost the war, and the hero has claimed her rightful place at the top. Radical honesty defines her now, and she isn't afraid to talk about the trauma or the fear that once dominated her life. She shares the Miss Blue Baller nickname because she wants people to understand the impact of non-consensual leaks and violations. Speaking out takes the power away from Rick Salomon, ensuring he can never hurt her again. This honesty is a shield, protecting her from the ghosts of her past and securing her future. Her life story has shifted from a tragedy of victimhood to a narrative of total victory, and the world is finally watching the real Paris Hilton. She is in control of her image, which meant her enemies have no way to hurt her anymore. The receipts prove she is thriving, while they collapse, and the cost of the lies has been paid in full. Her legacy is secure, the villain is gone, and Paris Hilton is the one who truly has the last laugh.